All right. Also, if you don't want to text, you can send me something at Twitter. And if we run short on time today, hopefully we will have a chance to, I will respond to each of these text messages. All right. So Chris uses this picture in his presentation. I thought it was a really good jumping off point. If not this, then what becomes the question, right? And Chris does a great job of explaining kind of the ideas, the ideals, and the values of SLA. My job, I think, is to come up here and help you kind of envision what a classroom might look like on a regular basis. So let's look at some examples of what I would want from my students. The first one is not anything a student created, but I think it's a really good way to sum up what I want from and for my students. Oh, there's no audio. Can we get volume? It's kind of cheating to use Beethoven to get things started, I realize. So what I want from my classroom is a space where Beethoven would have been inspired to create. That's it. There's no and to that sentence. And so I will now show you a piece that is student-created, and I want to talk a little bit about the project that inspired it. We wanted to do something, the history teacher who I share my 11th grade students with and I wanted to do a project that was place-based, and we wanted to incorporate primary sources, and we wanted to work on their ability to tell story. And so what we asked the students to do is find a building in their neighborhood that was named for someone. And then they had to understand, they had to research the history of the building. What was the actual space used for? And then they had to do research, and what was it about this person that brought the name to the building? And as Chris pointed out, the project was anything they wanted it to be. We said, all right, give us your annotated bibliography so we understand that you're looking for primary sources and how you're using them and what you're pulling from things, and give us that kind of that backroom proof of research. But on the front end, we don't care what you create so long as you are effectively telling the story. And so we got all sorts of things. That's actually where the Prezi, I think, that's the Prezi lesson that happened. Students also created websites. Students created documentary videos. Students created a bunch of different things. Somebody created a graphic novel detailing the history of the person and the history of the place. This is one of my favorite examples by a student named Thea. She chose the Mutter Museum, which is just down the street from school. And it is a place that I've never been because it kind of freaks me out. It's a college of physicians. They've got a lot of specimens there, a lot of things that would gross me out. So Thea created this. Now, mind you, no direction was given on how she was going to create this project or this final product. She just did. It was what she was interested and curious in. No. That wasn't it. Okay, this is a great example. I was actually kind of hoping this would happen sooner or later. I just failed in front of you. Get it? I'm a teacher in front of an audience, and I failed. And I do it all the time. And I think that's incredibly important. We talk about failure all the time with students. We want to teach our students, we want to give students room to fail. But how many times do administrators give their teachers room to fail, to play with ideas? Christian asked me the question, what would bring a student or a teacher to SLA? There are two things that brought me to SLA. One, in the interview process, we have students on every interview committee. And so there were three, and I joined SLA's faculty the second year, and so these were students who were in that first class, and they were going into their 10th grade year. And I turned to them, and we got to the point where it said, all right, do you have any questions for us? And I had no questions for the faculty. I had done my homework on the school and the faculty. But I was really happy where I was in Sarasota. And so I turned to the students and I said, last year you took a chance on this school. You didn't know what it was going to be. What made you come back for your 10th grade year? And the three students each gave me a different answer. One student said, because I can be myself at SLA. The second student said, because SLA is home. And the third student said, because this is a safe place to learn. I don't know what a teacher would want out of a school more than those three answers coming from students. We're going to move on past that. All right, not this. This is Mustafa. He is one of my juniors now. This is a frequent occurrence. He's 6'4", Chris? 5? He's huge. And he walks in. It takes a lot of energy to run that body on a regular basis. I mean, you throw adolescence in there, and it's really not fair what biology is doing to him. How many of you, throughout the day, at some point in time, in your place of work, snack? Stand up if at some time throughout the last few weeks you've had a snack. Stand up, please. Look around. Oh, yeah. All right. Now have a seat. All right, so two things just happened there. One, I got the answer I was hoping for. That was a contrived question. I was figuring you were snackers. The second thing that happened, and another piece that is incredibly key to my teaching, is I just made you change states. You've been seated now for about, well, a long time. And so by standing up and sitting down again, I increased the oxygen flow to your brain by 13, give or take, %. In the next few minutes, I will benefit from you being a little bit more focused on what I have to say. After about 15 minutes, nothing interesting happens up here. You're fine. Go back to sleep. So Mustafa needs to snack too, right? And when do we build this into a school's day, right? And school lunches, by and large, there's like yellow lunch day, there's brown lunch day, there's beige lunch day, which is exciting because that's usually tater tot day. So we don't build food into a student's day. We should, right? They need to, grow. His brain is changing. We know this physically. The adolescent brain, the child brain, they change shape in that time. And as a teacher, to expect him to sit and listen to not me, not just his peers, anything that's going on, and not try to feed the system is a ridiculous thing. I'm going to show you the most important concept, I think, in battling this problem. Not Talib. This is an air popcorn maker. How many of you, raise your hands, I won't make you stand up again. Raise your hand. How many of you have one of these in your home? We know that popcorn is one of the healthiest snacks. It doesn't have anything in it. There's calories, fat, that kind of thing, unless you put butter and salt on it, and I know you do. I don't, though. I bought this for my classroom, about a $35 expenditure. When kids are and popcorn's about $1 a pound. I get the good stuff at Whole Foods because they're my children and I care for them. It's about $1 a pound. I put it in this giant old coffee canister, and whenever kids are hungry, and it's all the time, I make popcorn. And I've got little containers, and I pass it out, and I don't make a big deal out of it like you've earned a snack, because you shouldn't use food as a reward. We've learned that. I use food as fuel. And so stuff is more awake during the day. And the kids know that they can make popcorn. I went out to lunch, and one of my students texted me, and they said, Mr. Chase, is it okay if we make popcorn? And I said, sure. And so they made popcorn, and they had a snack during the day, and I'm fine with that.